There we go. Hi, everybody. I did it. I know how to run a show. Oh, boy. Welcome to episode 38 of Task Force Unlikely. There wasn't several minutes of silence. Last time, the group went to Tarbek's volcano house. A fortress named Glaurum. Because they were told that the lava had run cold. So, they appeared, they interacted with Mr. Neblin, all of Tarbek's wards, and they eventually figured out that an ancient, or a legendary creature called a Draknor had reappeared after having not been seen in a long time, and drains magma from the volcano, and then it'll eventually drain the core, and when it leaves to go home, it explodes. It's a bad deal. So, the group finds that there are some mind flayers also worried about it, and they devise a plan. The plan is to call Narshinda the Rakshasa, the friendly Rakshasa, who will plane shift the monster away. Tarbek prayed to Moradin, and Moradin removed the Draknor's legendary resistances. So,
like a basketball player.
Moradin wanted me to score that goal. So, Narshinda is here.
Very,
What he would be, yeah, it'd be a little hard. What would you all like to do?
All right then. Everybody got their spells ready?
Oh, did we take a short rest or a long rest?
You have had a long rest.
I think it'd be best to do this now as soon as possible. I feel like every second this thing is on the plane is a second where it could just... You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tarbek is obviously, visibly sort of panicked, given this thing is, in his house. So... First and foremost, I would like to cast Bless on Narshinda, and I might as well give it to Kaw and Gayle as well.
Okay. So he gets an extra D4.
Would you rather do that, or would you like to Bane the Draknor? Their concentrations. I thought they were concentration spells.
We have two clerics, don't we?
Well, I think Kaw has another plan.
Yes.
I instead will then Bane later.
Okay. Because both of them are good, but it's which one would you prefer?
Well, the thing is, he has to make...
Charisma save.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's no reason to give him Bless. I take that back.
Well, keep in mind, the Draknor has to fail a charisma save to be affected by Bane. Narshinda will just be affected by Bless. It's up to you.
There's no reason to cast Bless on.
It
on
would
Narshinda.
help Kaw hit with Contagion, which we'd need to go off first. But everything else is a save.
So maybe, because I can just burn 2 spell slots, I cast Bless before we engage the Draknor, and then, the rest of the stuff can happen. We all good on that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, they're level 3 spells? No, they're 1 spell.
Bless is a level 1 spell. I can cast that all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So once we arrive near the Draknor, I'm sure Andy has some spiel for when we get near it. But I guess we should
It depends on where you want to go. Like, do you want to just go to one of its tentacles?
That counts as touch.
You're
does.
touching it.
And look,
You're
if it
touching
counts, it counts. Anywhere that we can cast the spell, and the easiest place to get to would probably be a tentacle. I'm a little nervous if you can't tell.
Yep. Same here.
Okay, so... Okay, before you cast Contagion, Jay, what are you trying to do with Contagion?
So Contagion has one of its effects, I believe, called Flesh Rot, which causes disadvantage on all Charisma saves.
It says Charisma checks.
Charisma check.
Sorry.
That's when there was more saves.
Pretty much everything else affects checks and saves.
Checks and saves, except for that one.
Rot.
That sucks.
Seems very arbitrary.
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit. Especially because
if
it's...
your flesh was rotting, you'd still fail the charisma check.
Yeah, especially
The charisma
because...
save.
Especially because it poisons them, and that automatically gives them disadvantage on checks.
Quick, someone tweet at Jeremy Crawford.
Hey, Jeremy Crawford. It's your
Hey,
made-up
this is
bullshit.
weirdly arbitrary and like
Jimmy, what the fuck? Sincerely, Dan. And tweet.
okay. The good news
Put all
is
of that
instead
on
of
my
that, it can use Bestow Curse, but now it needs to just make another save. That's not a hit. It needs to make a Wisdom save.
Okay.
I mean, this thing eats lava. It can't be all that wise.
You'd be surprised.
Oh,
Well, then
it
again,
isn't.
like white dragons have legendary resistances too, and they're not super smart. So
I mean, it is of the What is the word that I'm looking for? Never mind, I'll find it later. Let's just hope it don't have brains.
Okay. So, is the idea Bane, Curse, Narshinda? Is that the idea?
Sure.
sure.
Okay.
I hope the Bane works.
I'm going to... Hold on a second. Okay.
I don't think Tarbek's ever used Bane before.
Okay, what's your spell save DC, Tarbek?
1 second, I gotta actually like physically adjust my spells.
Sure.
I guess I'll get rid of. I guess I can get rid of Sending because he doesn't have to call home. He's there.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Yep.
I apparently got another spell but forgot about it, so I can keep both. Also, I get another cantrip. Whoop-de-doo. Anyways, ignore me for now. I'll just try to figure this out.
I mean, you're up first in the rotation. We
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, we
Right.
kind of
You do it.
ignored you.
Sorry. Yes, I will cast Bane.
No, what's your spell save DC?
Oh. What is wrong with me today?
It's okay.
My spell save DC is 17.
17, okay. The
I'm in
Draknor
a
has
very high stakes battle.
+4 charisma.
Pretty sure Bane is... Oh yeah, Bane is charisma. Shit!
Howdy.
Okay, it rolled a 9, so it rolled a 15. 14, 13. Math.
There you
Can't
go.
do it. Okay, so it is baned.
A little frowny face appears on, just a little cartoon frowny face. Starts rotating
yeah.
around the tentacle.
When you cast Bane, it The cavern starts to shake, and you can hear distantly what sounds like almost like a volcano erupting, like just this explosive sound. Okay.
Next in plan.
Next up.
Okay, first of all, Kaw's going to invoke duplicity, send the duplicate there to send the touch spell.
Okay, excellent. Okay. And this is a Constitution saving throw?
This
wisdom.
is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, it is
Negative 1d4.
less wise, so...
And whatever the result is, subtract an additional 2 from it.
Okay. Okay, rolled an 8, so that is another failure.
Andy's
it has
poor luck is
disadvantage
saving
on
us.
its next, on the charisma saving throws. Hooray.
Okay. Okay.
I would
All
like,
right, Narshinda, it's now or never.
I would like to point out that I am standing defensively in front of all the party members, just in case something goes wrong.
Okay.
It's not just like shields out, it's like an impromptu phalanx, essentially.
Yeah, put the 6'1" buff ass tiefling in front of everyone else, because
Okay.
I'm very nervous.
Okay. So let's see. Narshinda has plus 10 to hit, and his spell save DC is 18. Let's see. Alternatively, no, you can use that bit. So choose a creature within reach. Make a melee spell attack against it. This thing's armor class is 18. So he just needs to roll an 8. He rolls a 9. So that's
Dang
a
it.
19, which is a
Does the
hit.
Bane still work?
Bane does not work that way.
No, but it's okay. You're okay. So that's part 1. Now you just need this. Okay, so it's going to roll with disadvantage.
Disadvantage on -4.
Disadvantage. Okay, the first roll is a natural 20. The second roll is
Show me one, show me one, show me one, show me one.
a 6.
-4.
Okay. Let me remove the dice roller. So, put away my book since you don't have to fight anything. So,
All right, let's go to Drawn World.
Narshinda takes his backwards Rakshasa claws and digs them into the rocky tendril of this monster. You can hear that volcano explosion again as the tendril turns bright orange, and then in a burst of searing heat disappears. You can hear the ground and the tunnels all around you start to settle, and it sounds as if some of them begin to collapse. Let's see if yours is one of them.
Oh crap, Metroid escape time.
Further down this tunnel, you, Kaw, especially with your crazy passive perception, you definitely think this tunnel is one of the ones that is collapsing.
Oh,
Metroid escape time.
Yep.
run away.
Da, 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 da. Ah, shoot. Guys, do we save the animals or do we leave them?
There's no
Which
animals
animal?
in here.
Oh, right.
volcano.
We're not actually Metroid escaping.
Ah, fuck the dragon!
I'm
Is
sure
the
he's
dragon
fine.
still asleep?
You haven't seen the dragon since you got here.
It's a gold dragon. They have mountains fall on them all the time. They'll be fine.
That's true, actually.
I think the real question is, do we save the mind flayers?
Nah, they're fine.
They'll fine.
You know, he'll be all right.
They'll be okay.
Tarbek's not happy about this at all.
All right,
We got
okay.
rid of the thing. What do you
Yeah,
want?
but you know, his house is about to crumble in on itself.
I didn't say that. I said tunnels are collapsing.
Not the whole thing.
Yeah, you're in a big
It would
caldera.
Probably
have
not
been
the
the whole
whole
thing
thing.
if we hadn't gotten rid of that Draknor.
It would have been the whole thing
It
if
would
you
have
would not
been the
get
whole
rid of the
thing.
Draknor.
All right, let's get out of here.
So you all book it back to Glarum, and as you do, indeed, the fortress is such that, and you're kind of up high enough even, that, yes, you will have to remap some of the landscape down here. You'll have to reestablish tunnels, but the fortress itself is safe. And as far as you know, there is, well, you don't know if there are any blocked passages to Gauntlgrim or Neverwinter. That is unclear.
Tarbek breathes a huge sigh of relief and just starts kind of like hunched over, his hands on one wall. He's just, all right then. Good job, everyone.
We're like
High five.
slaps a hand on his back and looks back at the tunnel and is like, remind me to forge a pact with your god later.
You know, we're always accepting new members.
It's one hell of a lucky break.
And he will actually look up. I guess, would he look up at the sky or down at the ground to go, like,
I always look down at the ground for, like, dwarves and drow and stuff like that. Like, point at the ground kind of
Does
thing.
he have
Up
a
to you, though.
flask on him? Because he might look at that.
There you go.
Might pour one out.
Also, group hug. We did a
Yay.
thing, group hug.
That's, you know, a requirement, essentially.
Fine.
Of course. Did we succeed in
There's
a
a
thing
lot
and
of
is
metal
Kaw there? There's going to be a group hug.
I feel like that's going to be really uncomfortable for you and Gayle, though, because me and Navira are both wearing metal armor.
Navira's armor also canonically has a lot of pointy bits.
Yeah, but, like, that's not the important part.
Narshinda
Plus, all of Kaw's bagels are in there. It's just
Narshinda can join, too.
you can
Oh,
take
absolutely.
out a
Yeah.
with a really
Yeah.
powerful magnet.
He's by far the best fiend I think we've met.
Yes.
Oh, it's so nice for you to say.
It's like at the end of Billy Madison where he's like, thank God I talked to that guy.
It really is.
It's also the one fiend that hasn't tried to mind control any of my family members yet. So, like,
He can if he
massive
wants
bonus
to.
point. I know he can if he wants to. But
I
that's
don't
the
think he
thing.
wants to.
He doesn't.
I don't think he wants to.
No.
The other two did.
Okay. What would you all like to do currently? You're basically full up. I mean, a couple spell slots down, but nothing huge. Narshinda's like, that was my plane shift for the day, so guess I'm flying home.
What was that?
I'm flying home. I don't have any other
Hey,
teleportation
Alright,
Narshinda, do you
spells.
want to come to Dawn World with us?
Kind of strokes his chin, and he says, "I would feel bad going without Dorgar. Maybe next time. Let me know who it is. I never go anywhere opening week. Terrible lines."
That's fair.
fair. I think we can afford a fast pass. What about you guys?
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Gotta blow that money somewhere.
Tarbek is actually, if possible, probably going to stay and try and start charting. First of all, try and get all the dwarves that he can back to Glorum. Like, probably not all of them at first, but someone's going to have to help dig out these tunnels, so he probably will not be going to Drown World with the rest of the party. He's got chores he needs to get done.
Okay, so
We're just gonna leave you here?
I don't know.
Drown World after chores.
Navira can pick up a rock. She will help with the chores. That's
very kind of you. But also, like, and then he's gonna, like, go to a collapsed tunnel and just stone shape it, and just the entire thing just kind of...
Yeah, but you have a limited number of stone shapes. I have an unlimited number of pickup rocks.
That's true, that's true.
You can rely on it.
Okay. So you send a message back to... Go ahead.
Yeah, and I will also... Oh, well, yeah, I will also send a message back to, Sorry, I just gotta reset my spell slots. I'm also gonna send a message back to, Bruenor Battlehammer. Basically detailing roughly what happened. Okay. And that things should be safe, although there's been a bit of a cave-in.
He responds with his deepest thanks and says the next time you are in the area of Gauntlgrim, make sure to stop by, and that he will send scouts and his mine administrators to make sure they know exactly sort of the layout of the land. He does ask about the mind flayers.
You got him to send something other than emojis? Also, I was about to get to that.
Maybe we should go talk to him directly. I feel like
Kaw's
it might
gonna
be
cast
productive.
clairvoyance and make an invisible sensor so she can look at the mind flayers without going to them.
Excellent. Let's see.
And Tarbek will just say, don't know, maybe crushed in cave-in, essentially.
Shrug emoji.
We really need to get, like, some sending stones. I feel like that would be a really good investment.
The problem is, what are you going to do? Leave them with like 18 different people? Then you have a ring, you have like a giant key ring of metal or stone fist-sized rocks that you can talk in, and you got to figure out which one's which.
I don't know, like one so Tarbek can call home, and then that's really what he needs. Actually, it's just one so he can call home.
Okay. So, Kaw rolls her bones and casts clairvoyance.
Big money. Big money.
She sees in that courtyard once again. It does look like they were affected by parts of the cave-in. Their architecture was not as fortified as the Fortress of Glarum. It was much more like just kind of built in to the honeycomb cave system. The Ultrathid thing in charge is standing once again up on the balcony with the beholder and now a retinue of drow, and seems to be addressing the people once again. Oh, and you would recognize one of the drow as the matron mother of Qzorlin.
Okay, was waiting for that.
Ah, shit, here we go again.
I was like, well, you can't hear them. And I was like, you don't need to hear them. You see her and recognize her.
House Mezzo Zenadיר sends its regards.
I'm wondering, do we need to do something about that?
Unless they're planning on directly attacking Gorum, I'm gonna say no.
Well, I mean, now they can't. All the tunnels are collapsed.
I can either listen or look. can I switch between the two?
As your action, you can switch between seeing and hearing, yes.
Okay, I would like to do that.
Okay. Now the problem...
Even though Kaw can read lips, but that's not going to do a whole lot of good for the Mind Flayer.
No, and you would know that from last time, yeah, it's all... they did talk telepathically, that's how Gayle heard them, so you may not be able to hear them if they speak.
I care less about the Mind Flayers and more about the drow.
Okay, yeah. Okay. The Mind Flayers seem to be having a talk, and then the matron mother kind of looks shocked, and she said, I know we have had a long and tumultuous history, but we did have a deal, and I would hate for you to go back on it and feel the full wrath of the Queen of Spiders. She kind of seems to react to something and then glare at the Mind Flayer in charge. Who has a name? Oh, here it is. Let's see. Sorry. His name is Akuloth.
Can we call him Aku for short?
No.
Long ago.
It's so hard to do that voice.
He was one of a kind. R.I.P. Mako.
Yep.
Okay. The matron mother seems offended and says, I'm sorry. Who is in whose territory at the moment? Do you... And then she kind of like looks like gets a real... Let me speak to your manager look on her face. Although that was
Karen,
that was the other Karen. That was the other drow. There was another drow whose name was Karen.
There was.
With an apostrophe in it, of course.
Karen.
Karen.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oops. I'll put the drop down. That's right. What's this lady's name? Here we go. She says, if that is what it is, if that is how you see it, then I don't wish open war in the Underdark. That seems a poor idea for many involved. The dwarves will not like it. And then finally, the Illithid speaks aloud. I'm sorry. Since when do drow care what the dwarves want? And the other drow are kind of like, oh, like that. He kind of got you. She turns to glare and says, I don't know what to say other than this is hurtful. And she seems stunned, and all of the drow around her are, well, you kind of hear muttering because you can't see right now, but you kind of hear muttering like she's losing her step kind of thing. And she kind of hems and haws and says, if that is the way it is, then there will be open war in the Underdark. And then you hear like a womp 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 kind of thing.
Yeah, Tarbek thinks everything is fine. He hasn't heard this yet.
I mean, if he looks around, he might see that cause at this point, just like...
Oh, that don't look good. This Drawn World gonna have to wait.
Signs point to yes.
Karen, can I see your manager, Berenzen? Thank you, Marty, for that. I'm sorry.
What would you all like to do?
I mean, if we're going on based on lesser evils, a war between mind flayers and the drow are certainly the lesser of two evils. Like, we can negotiate with those two. You can't negotiate with a giant rock monster.
I mean, look, the issue here isn't, is there going to be a drow between mind flayers, or war between drow and mind flayers? Which, for the record, if that's the option, I pick drow like 99 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm worried that they might also want to drag us into this, or that we might also be somehow a target of this war, a co-belligerent, so to speak. And I don't want that, especially not after half of the lower tunnels just collapsed. I don't think that we're going to be able to recover for quite a while, and it would be very hard to fortify and defend this entire area when we don't even know what passages are still standing. Plus, there's the issue of we don't know if there's still a passage directly to Gontelgrim, so we won't not be able to get reinforcements.
I mean, this just started. We don't know, where the war is going to take place, if there's actually going to be a war. Like, one guy or one lady who's, doesn't speak for all drow is saying there might be a war.
Well,
I'm sure...
Yeah, right now, the war would be this clan of mind flayers and this house of drow. That's like 100 people.
That's more like a bar brawl than a war,
Yeah.
if we're being honest.
Yeah.
There was a lot of posturing.
So before we start, thinking that there's going to be a, giant war to end all wars type thing, we might just want to mention this to other people and be like, hey, if this starts popping off, you let us know. Because
someone who has fought in a war to end all wars, you may want to also figure out what it is exactly they're fighting over.
Well, you see, the Archduke of Austria was set, and then some other shit happened, and then Russia got involved, but then they got uninvolved.
Yeah. Maine. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. That's the cause of most wars.
I feel like you can add an E at the end and just have it be evil.
I would say... No, I would say that most wars aren't actually fought over evil, but... Sadly.
the analogy of evil, maybe, but
Yes. There is one big war that they definitely fought evil. World War I is not one of them.
Anyways, this is getting a little
They
off
wouldn't
topic
have had
here.
to fight that evil if they had blamed Germany for all of World War
Yes. Wow.
It's complicated.
Anyway.
Keep your politics out my fantasy.
Like, fundamentally, that is correct, but it's, like, another time.
Kaw, you said that the drow mentioned a deal.
Yes.
I don't really know a whole lot about drow, but making a deal with mind flayers sounds like the kind of thing that's going to get you in hot water with anyone.
Most likely.
Do you think the House of this Karen maybe made this deal behind other people's backs? If that's the case, then we could get her and her entire house delegitimatized, thrown out, have this war finished before it's even begun.
Well, it was the matron of the whole stronghold who was there, not Karen, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
I don't know, was Karen there? Was she in the background? I saw them for a little bit.
She was not.
All right, I say we let...
And Karen was a rival of that woman. Sorry.
Look, I think it would be wise to speak directly to Bruenor, actually physically go to where he is, rather than just, sending spells, because there's some limits to that, and tell him what the situation is.
I don't disagree with you.
So...
Signs point to yes.
Alright. But before that, I am going to make sure that everyone gets resettled here. I know that my nephew should be around here somewhere.
You sent him to Neverwinter, so you can call him back and he will return promptly, but...
I will call him back.
It won't be...
I will send a sending spell.
Won't be immediately, but he says, if you explain to him, he says he's coming back with the Snurfneblin, and your wards and the Snurfneblin will start clearing tunnels as best they can.
Alright, I'll tell him, be careful, I need to see Bruenor right away.
Maybe have them focus less on clearing and maybe on just, figuring out which ones might need doors in them soon.
Yeah, that would also help. I'm not going to say there's going to be a war, but, I'll strongly encourage fortification. I'm sure at least one of them can cast Stone Shape. That's once you're 7th level, you can cast that spell. Maybe. I hope so.
Okay. So, you want to attempt to find your way back to Gauntlgram?
Yes.
Okay.
If that requires using 2 or 3 more stone shapes, so be it. That's definitely my most used spell. It's not even close.
Okay, they don't have that anymore. Okay, so you start heading in the direction of Gauntlgram. You come to a caved-in, tunnel, stone-shaped away. Keep moving forward. Eventually, you enter into a cavern that was previously not here. And you can see it's essentially made of glass, as if something has blasted its way through it. There are over probably several, 3 dozen of those bore marks where the tendrils kind of came through, about that size, throughout the entire room, and then 2 really deep giant pits going down. And yeah, this seems like the room where the Draknor was kind of living, and it was about a mile from where you were previously.
Sweet digs.
Well, I think we should take a look around here, make sure there's no eggs or anything. I don't know how these things work.
Okay, yeah, you can feel free to take a look. Okay.
I want to make sure that we don't miss any, like, I don't want another Drachnor to grow here in, like, 6 months. That'd be really shitty.
Do you want me to investigate?
If you want, I was also going to, I was hoping to use perception, but anything we can do to investigate.
Yeah, investigation or perception.
What's that, perception?
9. I'm very distracted by stress.
28.
There we go.
Ladies
I rolled
and gentlemen,
1.
Okay.
it's Gayle.
Gayle takes the lead. Let's see. You don't find any eggs. Let me just start by saying that.
Oh, thank goodness.
You find
You
the...
find a completely...
Yes, it... Hey, you didn't get me.
God.
You missed.
Fred Rush, your Rakshasa friend sucks. He lied.
Should have gone for the head.
Where are my pizza rolls?
Oh no, that's where he gets all his heat from.
They're like lava in the
when
middle.
you take one of those out,
One singular pizza roll.
Just immediately blinks out of existence because he hasn't had enough heat.
Let's see. So yeah, no eggs. Let's see the tendril holes. You do find. Here's something. You find a couple things kind of scattered about its nest. The first one is it's essentially like an orange marble, but it seems to be full of magma. It's slightly warm to the touch, but it doesn't burn you or anything like that. You think this is a planar key to the plane of magma.
Hey!
You could use it with the Berg Skull if you wanted to, for whatever reason, go to the plane of magma.
You can go visit.
My reply is no.
Yeah.
I'll keep it, but I don't know if Tarbek would kind of take out the skull and like look at the key. It's like,
Look, it's not necessarily
Put it like
useful.
this. If we run into another Drachnor, we won't have to call Gershinda all the way down.
that is true. That is very true. We can just kind of smack it with the skull until it goes away. I'll put it in the key collection.
A different compartment of his beard.
Yeah, he's probably got a special box for it at this point.
Okay, the other thing is, you see emblazoned on... Where are you? There it is. Hold on a second.
How many planar keys do we have? We have fire, magma, and some other ones.
Fire, magma,
Hades, I think?
Shadowfell.
I don't think we got Hades.
No,
We
you
don't
don't have
have
Hades.
Hades.
You have the Feywild, the Shadowfell, fire,
Feywild
and magma.
was the other one.
And what?
The Feywild, Shadowfell, fire, and magma.
Cool. It's a neat little thing.
Okay. So, the other thing you find is a piece of iron ore that has emblazoned in it a glowing rune, which Tarbek would recognize as a giant rune.
Might need to take a look at that. I think Does Tarbek read giant? I don't remember if he actually has that one or not. He does not have giant. He has primordial, dwarvish, and undercommon, but I feel like giant is one of those languages a lot of dwarves speak.
Well, speaking giant and understanding what the rune do would be two different things still, because runic magic is a different thing.
Oh, wait. Doi, identify.
You can. Oh yeah. Totally cast identify. Okay. Okay.
Consider to do that for all of them.
Okay, this is called an Ingot of the Scald rune. Okay, it requires attunement.
Okay.
While attuned to it, this is a mistake, Andy. Its effects are Runic Shield. You have a +1 bonus to armor class. Shield Bond. As a bonus action, choose a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you other than yourself. Until the end of your next turn, any damage the target takes is reduced to 1, but you take half the damage prevented this way. The damage you take can't be reduced in any way. Once you finish this, you have to do once you use this property, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Shield Ward. You can transfer the ingot's magic to a non-magical item, a shield or two-handed melee weapon. By tracing the rune with your finger, transfer takes 8 hours. At the end, the ingot is destroyed, but the weapon, the shield or weapon become magical. The shield would become a shield of attunement that gives you +1 to AC. And the first time after each of your long rests that you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you are instead reduced to 1 hit point. And the weapon would grant you a +1 bonus to AC. So I know that was a lot. But, so you can use the magic item 3 different ways. You can just use it as a magic item, which gives you +1 AC and lets you absorb damage for a friend. Or you can put it on a shield, which gives you +1 AC and lets you not die. And then you can put it on a weapon and it gives you +1 AC.
Me and Mira will talk about who gets that off screen, probably.
It does require attunement, so keep that in mind if you have several attuned magic items.
I have
At least one.
at least one, maybe 2.
I only have Redeemer. I think that's it.
Now, do you get all the characteristics if you mix it with a weapon or a shield?
So if you mix it with it has to be a non-magical weapon or shield. So you couldn't apply it to Redeemer.
I also like to point out the Redeemer is a two-handed weapon. Navira is not typically one to use shields.
Right.
It would also work on a two-handed
So
weapon.
it only specifically works for two-handed weapons. So I believe Navira is the only one who uses a two-handed weapon, and her weapon is already magical. So your best bet would to either be inscribe it onto a shield or just use it as is. Both are good magic items.
That's true. Might just use it as is. Anyways, and what is the glowy... Oh, right, the glowy orb is a mag key.
Yes.
And is that all?
Yes, that is all you find here other than, I don't know, teen magazines, Tiger Beat.
I was going to say, do we find its diary?
I hope I could go home one day. I hate being
Dear Diary, today I ate heat. Next page. Dear Diary, today I ate heat. Next page, and so on and so forth.
We get to the last page. It says, Dear Diary, and then there's just a pen mark from where we're folding to the mouth.
I wish Marcy would notice me. Okay. Anything else you would like to do in this cavern? Okay. So, you continue heading toward Gontal Grim. You've been traveling for a while now, and you're Tarbek. Or can I get a survival check from everyone? Everyone has been to Gontal Grim before.
Oh, fun!
Do I get advantage for being underground? I forget how this one works. One second.
You do not. I just looked it up. You get advantage on intelligence checks to understand the origin of stone.
I got a 20.
Okay.
I got a 12.
12.
Okay.
4.
Yep. The beer's got -1 whiz. Okay. So, Tarbek, the most efficient way to get to Gauntlgrim has been cut off in such a way that it would take more than just stone shape to get there. You believe there is another way, but it will take you more than a day. So you've been traveling at this point for over 8 hours. So it would be advisable to rest.
I think that would be advisable. We'll set up camp here. If you want, I can wall us off in this tunnel. It's up to you, ultimately. Actually, let's not wall us
take a
off.
break.
We'd run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
Just,
I
don't know
you can
what
take
I
a
was
rest.
thinking.
You just can't,
We can sleep here. There's no reason we can't. It's just, we got to be on our guard because there's things lurking in these tunnels. Oh no, that's the sound a Neolithid makes.
It's more like.
Okay. Would you all like to set a watch order?
I go first.
Navira first.
Okay.
Kaw second.
Gayle, go third.
Third.
Tarbek will go last, apparently.
Okay.
Out dibs to get dunked on.
This is what happens when I don't talk fast enough.
Okay. Can I get perception checks from everyone, or let me know what your passive perception is? That's also good.
Oh dear. Well, I rolled, so I guess I have to use this, huh?
Ooh.
For
If you
once in a
pass,
blue moon, Navira actually rolled pretty well on perception. It's a 16.
16? Okay, Navira 16. Navira 1.
Gayle got an 18.
Well, I got an 8.
8, okay. And Kaw?
20.
20.
I'm not even gonna roll for it. I'm just gonna take the 20.
Yeah,
I can do that.
What is your passive perception, Tarbek?
It's 15. I should have taken the passive.
Okay. I'll take that into consideration. Okay. So, Navira takes first watch. Everyone kind of goes to sleep, and Navira, you haven't been home from hell that long in the grand scheme of things. So this might be the first, and it's not even water deep loud. Like, it's just quiet here. How does that make Navira feel? There's no bustle. It's just solitude and the occasional, rock fall. No one dies.
I mean, it's definitely giving her just like a little bit of anxiety in the way that like only silence can. Like, she keeps just like expecting to hear like screams or roars or earthquakes or the rush of like magma coming down a tunnel. Every once in a while she'll like shift in her armor just to like make some sort of sound.
Okay.
Because for her, silence is equal to like right before a big bloody battle.
Okay. Okay.
Our entire party needs therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, what adventuring party doesn't?
That's a good point.
You don't go chasing after illithids if you are right in your head.
Don't go chasing elephants.
Okay. Your watch passes by uneventfully, and you wake up Kaw. Kaw, what do you do on watch? How are you feeling right now?
It's kind of, I don't know. Sort of concerned, mostly.
Yeah. How does Kaw feel about Navira being back?
Glad that Navira is back.
Okay. Just ask. Okay. Your watch passes by uneventfully. Gayle. Gayle.
Yep.
Kaw wakes you up in a way. How would Kaw wake someone up? I am curious now.
Shake on shoulder. Doesn't work. Gentle peck on shoulder. Doesn't work. Loud noise in ear. See if that works.
I think that one will probably work.
That would work.
Stop. No.
I was half expecting her to just imitate a crowing rooster. Oh. That also works.
Okay, yeah, it makes an alarm clock noise. And yeah, so Gayle, you are awake. I think we've talked about this before, but you've lived in Waterdeep basically your whole life. So, the quiet of nature is sometimes maybe too quiet. What is Gayle thinking right now? How is she feeling?
Gayle super stoked because her plan worked. It was Gayle's plan first. She might have not worked out all the logistics, but she was, the supervisor on it, the idea woman. So she's super happy about that. Nope.
Executive
You know what
producer
everybody
on
else
this
was planning. But then, yeah, and I don't know, she sees, like, the whole Mind Flayers and Drow going to war as, like, two birds with one stone. We don't have to worry about the Mind Flayers, because they're just gonna, get themselves killed, and then we just gotta make a wall and no one's gonna come bother her. Yep.
Okay.
Don't gotta talk about anything.
Don't need to self-reflect, don't need to consider the ramifications of my actions, or definitely not to consider the ramifications of making up a fake-ass drow house.
Look, there's at least one drow, so technically it's a real drow house.
I mean, yeah, if Gayle makes it up and declared herself matron mother, where's the lie? Other than the fact that she said it was a fairly important drow house.
It is fairly important.
Look,
that part is true.
We banished
It's important
Tiamat,
to
we
me.
banished a Draknor. Just saying, that's important.
We have saved this realm more times than we can count. It is important.
Okay.
Technically, nothing we've said is a lie,
Metro
except for all
said
those
here
times we lied.
for life.
Yeah.
Technically, the only things we've ever said that have been lies have been the lies.
When you one of us only tells the truth and one of us always lies. And which one is it? I don't know. One, I guess, full of lies. Okay.
Wait, wouldn't the person who said that automatically be the one who is lying? Or the one who's telling the truth?
I hate that puzzle.
I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize.
Gayle, how do you feel that Navira is back, now that Navira is back? And you smashed up your letter to her.
Again, she's just super happy that that Navira is back. And, you know, things can progress if they want to.
Okay. Okay, and your watch passes by uneventfully. And finally, Tarbek. Gayle comes and wakes you up. How?
I did my homework.
Okay. Good night.
Yeah. So Tarbek, pretty much the same question as before. You're much more used to the quiet. This is certainly many nights spent, in a quiet, splendid little cave. How is Tarbek feeling? Not just on the Navira thing, but on the Draknor and the kind of the state of his home right now.
Tarbek's like big conflicting inner thoughts now is like he's starting to worry. Like he doesn't want to stop adventuring. He really loves being with these people, but he almost feels like his responsibility is here in a way, and he's really worried he's going to have to give one of those things up. And he's just going to kind of look over all of his sleeping party members and then look back in the direction where he knows his home is and kind of sigh. And he's going to take out his hammer and sort of rest the head on the ground and do a little prayer, asking for more guidance. Although, honestly, it's like guidance asterisk, like if you don't want to help out on this one, you've already done quite a bit lately. So, like, I get it if you're busy.
Come back in a week.
Fair. No, honestly, fair.
No, I mean...
He's not trying to use the divine intervention.
No, I understand.
But he is like...
Hold on a second. Let me...
Tarbek's a good boy, but he's not always great at making definitive choices. He can be a little indecisive. He worries a lot, if you haven't noticed. Like, all the time.
What? I hadn't noticed.
It's very subtle. I tried to work that into his character, like, gradually. It's,
Okay. As you kind of reflect on this, you are kind of brought back to your divinity school, your clerical teachings, and as a young man,
back when I only had 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah,
in my childhood.
Essentially, in being a young adult, a teen of some kind, you recall sitting in class, and a particularly nasty teacher of yours, who had a tendency to whack people on knuckles with a sword. Not, it's a handcrafted sword, I'm going to use it. Smack. Ow! Put on your gauntlet. Call yourself a cleric.
Tarbek brought his great shield to class with him.
Clang. Do you remember him kind of standing at the front of the class, probably writing something on a chalkboard, And he would do this occasionally where he would just turn around and point at someone and have them recite Moradin's dogma. And if you couldn't do it from memory, he would hit you with a sword. And yet he
sounds like awful.
Oh, he's a terrible person. But he points at you, Tarbek. In your memory.
Do I have to make a religion check?
Yeah.
Baby Tarbek religion check. I rolled a 2. Okay. Oh boy, here comes the sword.
So you kind of stammer for a minute, and he kind of
forged knowledge, creation, and duty to and then I'm assuming the sword comes.
He kind of goes to raise the sword, and then he kind of like just exhausted. He says, "Those are his domains, son. Moradin, the father and creator of dwarves. Honor him by emulating his principles and workmanship in smithing, stoneworking, and other tasks. Wisdom is derived from life and tempered with experience. Advance the dwarven race in all areas of life. Innovate. Find new kingdoms and clan lands. Honor your clan leaders as you would Moradin." Tarbek. And then he whacks you.
Can Tarbek try to block it with his shield?
Yeah! Good! You're learning.
Well, I made the shield, so,
Excellent. From that day forward, every kid brought a shield to class.
It's like on the day of graduation, everybody brings they all have like shields and they all have like little messages on them the same way that graduating caps do.
Yeah.
And that teacher just in the back row, single tear.
You finally learned. Always bring a shield. That's what you were teaching us? But that kind of resonates in your head. Take from that what you will. However Tarbek would like to interpret that. Okay.
My clan isn't exactly all dwarves anymore, is it? And then he's just going to say that to himself and kind of ruminate on that.
Okay, yeah.
Snoring and bird sounds.
Okay, so the rest of your watch passes by uneventfully, Tarbek. And you proceed to go wake everyone up at the end of rest.
I will. I was gonna say I'll wake them up by like making some breakfast. What would the breakfast even be? Fried trail rations?
You could fry up some bread, I guess.
If we found that Drachnor egg, we could have eaten that.
Yeah.
Any mushrooms nearby?
Oh yeah, totally.
All right, we got trail rations, mushrooms, and I don't know if we can eat this lichen.
Give me a survival check. I'll tell you if you can eat that lichen.
His position on this is like he'll only eat it if he's sure he can eat it.
That would be a nat 20 survival check. Is that edible?
Okay, let's see. Pull it out of the abyss. This has got a lichen chart somewhere in it. Hold on.
Roll for lichen.
Fungi of the Underdark, page 22.
Fun guy of the number 1 is just a picture of Tarbek.
Okay, let's see.
Good guide.
And then is Mike and it's because they're fun guys.
2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff.
Okay, here we go. This is fire lichen. Pale, orange, white in color, fire lichen thrives on warmth, so it grows in regions of geothermal heat. Fire lichen can be ground and fermented into a hot, spicy paste, which is spread on spore bread, gross, or added to soups or stews to flavor them. And durgar, also ferment it into a fiery hot liquor. So it's fireball whiskey.
Yeah, Tarbek
Great
like
for more of that.
look, hey, Tarbek would probably like love fire lichen. He's like, yeah. Now we're cooking with gas.
So yeah, it makes chili paste and spicy booze.
Makes chili paste and fireball. What's not to like about it?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like half of what I eat and drink in real life.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, Kaw does that in the morning. Kaw and Tarbek kind of probably scrape as much as they can, try and figure out what to use which portions of it for. The liquor will take a while to make, obviously, but yeah. You start to head back to Gauntlgrim, and after a couple hours journey, you enter into the large, kind of still mostly abandoned fortress city of Gauntlgrim.
There are really not that many people here. It's eerie, very eerie. I have never been inside of a dwarven stronghold that was not just completely packed. It's scary in a way. And then, like, I would imagine I feel like dwarf standards of packed are very different than human standards of packed.
I mean, an abandoned city is an abandoned city.
Hmm?
It was abandoned, so it doesn't matter if it's like have different dwarven standards and human standards.
I'm making a gag. I'm sorry, it fell flat.
Pardon me. Okay. So, you all passed through the city levels, which I don't think you did last time, but it's still mostly uninhabited and mostly destroyed. Or not destroyed, just abandoned. There's lots of spider iconography everywhere, and you head back into the area with the forge and the throne room. And you approach one of the guards outside of Bruenor's throne room.
Hello there. I believe we have an appointment. Tarbek Cinderbeard and company.
Kind of nod
Give
and
him a business card.
Oh, thanks. You are led back into the throne room, where once again you see the really long passageway, a bunch of statues. On the throne sits a rather bored-looking dwarf, leaning on a hammer. No, an axe. I can't remember.
Using the axe of the dwarvish lords to,
pretty much, just kind of leaning on the axe of the dwarvish lords, like, yep, still king, still bored as hell.
Hey there, friend. I mean, he's gonna kneel. It's like, sorry, that wasn't very formal. Apologies, my king.
He kind of looks at you like it did not bother him at all. But he kind of nods and he says, yes, proper etiquette and such.
All right, do you care about this? Because I don't care about
Absolutely not, my friend.
Okay, thank goodness.
But he does kind of look at the guards like, it's fine. Like, goodbye. Hello, everyone from the stream we just got raided by.
Blaze TK. Hi, Blaze TK. Thank you for sending us friends.
Okay. So, you all stand in the throne room of Bruenor Battlehammer. What would you like to do?
Alright. There may be a conflict going on between the Drow and the Mind Flayers. It's not something I'm 100% sure we need to be concerned with, but... Look, I think it's probably time we address the elephant in the room. Even with Glorum included, there are not that many dwarves here, and, yeah, I don't know if... probably gonna need to find some way to actually get people to move here. Because otherwise we're not gonna be able to defend our home if something particularly nasty does happen.
He says, I will not let Gauntlgrim fall to either Mind Flayers or Drow again.
We don't know for sure if they're attacking us yet.
Of course. He says, but this is my responsibility as king, and I will do my best. There are fortresses to the north or west that
one's mine, actually.
Citadels I can call on for aid. Not as strong as they were before the war. But
which war?
Oh boy, the most recent one. Broken.
I like to imagine it's in.
I said it's in character. Ah, boy, they have so many names now. It's the War of Broken Arrows, I think.
That was. Oh, I thought that was. Oh yeah, that's the war my son died in.
Yes, that one.
You know, that's an important one.
Is that what it's called?
You cannot convince me this is not the actual conversation that Bruno and Tarbek are having.
It basically is at this point. It's something like that. He's kind of like, I fought in a lot of them. It's something like that.
You and me both, brother.
But yeah, but he's essentially saying, yeah, they were kind of didn't do great in that war. I think it's technically a tie. He says, if you want to evacuate Glorum to Gauntlgrim, obviously you are welcome here. There's plenty of room.
I feel like it probably, if they're attacking from underground, Glorum's probably safer than Gauntlgrim.
He kind of nods. And he says, I will not provoke a war, obviously, and I can't do... I will... The situation
I would like to point...
Yeah.
I would like to point out that we don't know if the war has started yet.
Of course.
It's just they're pissy at each other. We're just warning you so you can get your shit together.
Yes, yeah, and he says, I will prepare for the worst if it were to come. But yeah, he's not going to go like saber rattle or anything like that. He knows he's in no position to do it. But he says, hopefully, it will not come to that, and it will be handled peaceably. I don't know the circumstances surrounding it. I don't know the history between these two groups. Specifically, I know of Mind Flayers and their atrocities. But
well, we've actually had encounters with this Drow house before. I believe on the expedition you sent us on. Is where we...
Good.
Reminded me of what the city was called again.
Oh, it was called Quzorlin.
I believe it's a house from Quzorlin.
Interesting. Well, they were certainly reasonable to deal with then, were they not? They assisted you to some degree, and then stuff happened. I don't remember what you told me.
Look, I know. I don't.
Up.
Better not tell you now.
We left on good terms.
Good.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
I would not My first instinct would not be to say that they are going to take aggressive action, and I don't know if they would win if they did. They did not exactly seem to have their shit together. Which may be a slightly presumptuous statement, but, like, you know, there was this one lady named Karen. She was... There seems to be a bit of a leadership conflict there. If a war happens, it will not be between the Drow and the Dwarves. I would put my money on the Drow and the Mind Flayers, or if the Mind Flayers see us as a threat, perhaps the Mind Flayers and the Dwarves. Although it's worth noting that the Mind Flayers were considering seeking assistance from us when the Draknor problem was in full swing.
Well, they sought assistance from the Drow, and we see how well that has turned out for the Drow.
What do you propose,
now
my
that I
wife?
think about it, if they want to be sort of follow this to its logical conclusions, we don't really know if the Mind Flayer's first idea was to contact us, or if it was the Drow, or it was the Drow's idea to contact us through the Mind Flayers. So I figure the Drow would have a much more, want to say that they would want to work with us rather than just work with Mind Flayers. So it might have been just a preamble to get all of us to work together.
Who knows?
Now,
what do you propose we do, my wise king? Sorry
for
your
wise king. Put me on the spot like that. Come on, man.
Force an habit. I'm sorry.
He says you have a relationship with these Drow.
Cannot predict now.
Could you go to their citadel and talk to them?
We did, but there was a bit of an incident there with a big old abscessed flesh pit.
We fixed it.
Okay.
We did fix the
That's
abscessed
good.
flesh pit.
Abscessed flesh pit sounds terrible.
It was
Yes.
terrible. There were
definitely.
There were demons coming out of it.
And then I believe we just kind of pieced out of that. I don't think we said goodbye.
Yeah, we kind of left in a hurry.
Okay.
For, demon reasons.
Of course. Demons are terrible. I
don't know how you can be against things existing, but demons manage to find a way.
It seems counterintuitive. My thought is simply, if the Mind Flayers are going to be aggressive, I'd rather deal with them than let a war spill out into the Underdark or Neverwinter or somewhere.
So,
and if the Drow are currently in a weakened state of some kind, and we are in a weakened state, we are better together.
Alright, so if I am understanding correctly, the proper procedure for this should be to try to forge an alliance of necessity with Quzorlan.
That is my first thought, best thought. I'm open to ideas. I'll go fight some Mind Flayers. I'll do it.
I feel like you'd enjoy that. You don't seem exactly, thrilled to be here, especially because, and then he's gonna look around. It's probably like the two guards and nobody else.
Kaw makes the sound of like the wind blowing in the distance and a tumbleweed.
Hey, you don't have to point it out. I get it.
Well, there's silver lining, you may be able to convince some dwarves to settle here in the defense of dwarven kind, whatnot. You know, Moradin's dogma, gotta honor the dwarven peoples and found new lands and defend existing ones from all threats. And
I had hoped that more would return without the promise of war. But
unfortunately, war is one of the few things that seems to get our people actually out of their little holes. I didn't exactly come here entirely intentionally to begin with. I was... Well, you don't have to hear about that. Although I have a feeling you probably know already.
Kind of thinks and he nods, and he kind of looks and he says, and I know it is hypocritical of me to kind of thinks for a minute to both be bored and wish for peace. I'm so bored. But peace is more important. He says,
I picked the boring peace over the exciting war.
He nods, and he says,
Yes.
Look, gesturing to most of the party, none of you are my subjects. I cannot command you to do... to the party, not to you, Tarbek. Technically, you are his subject. But he...
Quite literally.
Yes. But he gestures... I cannot command or compel you to do anything. Just know you would be rewarded and appreciated if you did aid in this regard and helped further a potential for peace in the Underdark for, I want to say ever, like that it's never happened before. I'm going to say never.
Reward or no reward, we're with Tarbek no matter what.
Yes, definitely.
And he looks at you, Tarbek, and he says, I will not compel you to do something you do not wish to do. So,
well, I mean,
essentially, it's up to you.
This is my home as much as yours, King. I have to. And look, with these people backing me up, I don't see how I can fail. I would ask for you one thing, though.
Resisting urge to tackle a hug dwarf friend in front of his king.
He says, what is it?
For a long time, I have built up Glorem. I have watched it grow from a small fort and outpost to a mighty settlement. And I know it's not exactly conventional with regards to its inhabitants, but I would ask that in return for completing this task, Glorem be recognized as a dwarf stronghold, equal to that of Mithril Hall or any other.
He thinks for a second, smiles very briefly, and he kind of leans forward and he says, what you're asking for, Tarbek, only a king can do. And I'm the king, so yeah, no, let's just do it.
Oh, wow. Life's work coming to fruition here. It's gonna... You see he covers his eyes for a second, and then steam starts rising off his beard. Clearly he's crying.
Urge to resist failed. Tackle hugging dwarf friend in front of his own king.
Would it actually, would he notice it? Because he's very sturdy.
I mean, he'd probably feel the impact of just, plunk.
Well, hi, Kaw. And he's gonna kind of, and he's gonna be like, just kidding, and then wrap his arm around her.
He doesn't even like tip. He just like slides across.
Just screaming.
I have one of those dolls where like it's like a punching doll where if you hit it, it'll like bounce back up. I kind of pictured that, but like to a much lesser degree.
It's also a lot louder.
That's true.
Like, there's a lot of jewelry hitting plate
Yeah,
mail going
it's
on.
very clangy.
This clunk screech.
Okay.
Oh, I guess that makes Tarbek an archduke or something. I don't know how that works.
A lord.
Lord, something.
Yeah. Stronghold.
Look, we
lord.
can figure out your title later.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, he says, it will be done when you return. Perhaps that is another good reason for people to come to Gauntlgrim, a celebration.
I would, one more thing. I would, ask that, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Of course, Tarbek.
It's not going to be easy to face my family again. Well, my other family. Or my other family. I have a lot of different ones. Very strange life I've lived.
He kind of nods and he says, "There's a strange life leads to an interesting one."
Oh, it's been anything but boring.
Nods.
All right, Lady Matron Gayle, you think you're ready to see your old friends again?
Not really, but we'll do it anyway.
All right. Perhaps we can prepare slightly better this time, now that we know in advance what we're sort of going for.
I mean, how do we prepare to talk to Drow that probably don't like us?
I mean, they like you enough.
Makeover party. Get all dressed up, make ourselves little house crests that we wear.
It's just all black and purple all the time.
I mean, Gale's already
Nice.
had this one in black.
I'm like 80% of the way there.
Yeah.
Just add some spider motifs.
Yeah, Gale, just pin something to your turtleneck and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fit right
Get
in.
like those glow-in-the-dark plastic Halloween spider rings. All set.
Like little
Tarbek
paper
will,
mache
like,
spiders for badges.
Yep.
Tarbek will, instead of having his clan logo, he will sort of like basically weld like an iron spider onto the front of his armor.
Okay. Yeah, it's like Spider-Man style.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so certainly you all can take the time to
By the
prepare
way,
tonight.
Not right here in front of the king.
I
Like, we're
understand.
not going to just start like...
Okay, everybody
Yeah, no,
into your
we're gonna-
pockets. What do we have?
That means you two, Mr. Gauntlgrim. Kidding.
Got some keys. I got a couple mints.
Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, you know.
I'm keeping that one. But yeah, you certainly have accommodations in the city that he can provide for you, and anything within reason. He can get you some mundane kind of disguisey stuff if you want to do a craft project. Certainly lots of metal. And that's where we'll end to pick up next time. Heading back to the Drow City.
President Tarbek.
All hail Shortburns!
The Firebeard returns!
Oh god, not these guys again.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Good again.
Outros and plugs. Daniel.
Hi. It's good to be here, and it's really good to be back, and I love playing with y'all. I'm endorsing this channel right here. And also being good to each other and not being racist or killing people. That's totally not a subtweet at anyone.
I mean, very specific
Not
group
anyone
of people.
here.
Not everybody here.
Not anyone here, but
Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz. You can follow me on, I guess, the social medias, but there's a lot of other people you should be following instead. So go follow them. They're making donations and retweeting a lot of good people.
Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay. Be kind, stay safe, wear a mask in public, and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. And Mira.
Hi, I'm Mira. You should also definitely take the time during this period. There are a whole lot of Black creators and Black artists, especially. I've been following a lot of those, promoting themselves right now. Take the time to follow, learn, educate yourself. Black Lives Matter. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Yeah. What everyone said. I endorse and co-sign all of that. I was talking a lot about that
bundle
on itch, itch.io. That's done. But
there is a humble bundle now.
There's a humble bundle, and there are several bundles on DriveThruRPG. If you click on the banner at the top, it'll take you to a list of games by Black creators, which if you buy one of those, the money that would normally go to DriveThruRPG goes to a charity of the creator's choice. And then there are bundles as well, which it will tell you what the bundle supports. You can get some crazy good and great games in there for like $10, and there's two different ones that go to Black Lives Matter, two that go to I think the NAACP, and I can't even, there's so many, there's like 6 of them on there, I think. So check it out. And yeah, lots of great ways to support charities. Yes, I think that's it. Have a good night, everybody. Be nice to each other. Be kind. Don't be racist. Wash your hands.